What do you predict for Vlasic's contract term and AAV?
Well, there's a couple ways to look at this, and I'm trying to put myself in Alex Vlasic's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And while it could be very tempting to
Don't you mean his skates?
Skates, thank you.
Okay.
To cash out big now and say, yeah, I'm going to go for the $6 million for 6 years, 7 years, whatever.
Yeah.
I might be a little patient on that. Take the little 2-year bridge deal and see what comes out the other side. Because I don't foresee a future where he's going to be getting much less than that if he continues developing anywhere close to what he's done so far.
Yeah, I think there might be some meat in the middle between him and the Blackhawks on this. Because I think if they were if the Hawks were gonna offer him a bridge deal, yeah, I mean it's kind of good for Vlasic, as you said, like to bet on himself that he's going to continue to develop and get better. So if they were like, 3 years at 3.5 or whatever, that would be betting on himself. That would be good for the Blackhawks to have that cap space over the next 3 years that they're kind of saving on him. But I think if you, from a team perspective, if you want to make it as affordable as possible and have him signed long term, and just to give him that showing of like, we believe in you, we believe in the direction you're going in, we want you to be a part of it, and use it as an example for the rest of the young guys moving forward. Like, hey, like if you put in the work, if you do the things that we're asking you to do, and your development path is where we expect it to be, like Vlasic's been able to follow, like you're gonna get your money, you're gonna get invested here. So I don't know, if it were me, I would be. I'm in the camp of give him the long-term investment.
Agree.
And don't necessarily be like, 8 years at $5 million and lowball it. Like, give him 6.5, 7. Like, eventually that contract will be a bargain, I would think, as time moves on. So that's what I would handicap it as, just to give him that security, that investment, and give him that spot.
Yeah, I don't want to bridge deal it, but I don't get to make those decisions for either one of those guys. I'd rather give him the 6-year deal right off the bat, 6 by 6, 6 by 7, somewhere in between 6 and 7 for 6 years. Sounds good to me. That contract will be looked at as a bargain by 2 years.
Yep.
Second season of that deal, people are like, God, I can't believe he's like. When you look at some of these successful teams, like the Carolina Hurricanes and Tampa and some of these other teams that have been able to keep their young core together, they don't do the bridge deal stuff.
Right.
They get their guys at 6-7 years early as soon as they believe in them. And there's no reason to think Alex Vlasic is not the goods going forward.
Everything says he is.
So, and I don't think Vlasic is so young in his career. I don't think Vlasic is at the point where he's just like sees nothing but dollar signs.
Right.
I mean, that's what his agent's there for.
I mean, he's no Zach Hyman, Rich, but
yeah, but well, I mean, he is from Wilmette, so he's got some cash. So playing for the hometown team, he's become a fan favorite, part of an exciting young core that's only scratching the surface of A, getting here, and B, accomplishing great things. And that could be the sales pitch from Davidson too. Like, hey, we want to lock you up 6 by 6.5. We'd love to give you all this money, but we have to also think down the road. Do you want to get paid big, or do you want to be part of something special for a decade plus?
right.
So I think, if you lock them up long term now, you save money down the road.
Yep.
You spend more up front, but you save money down the road, because trying to sign him for 6.5 2 years from now ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But that's the thing is, Vlasic knows that too. So we got to see what his motivation is. So back in February, Scott Powers actually did this very thing for The Athletic, and compared it to Matthias Samuelsson's second contract with the Sabres. He signed a 7-year deal with a 4.285716 cap hit. He also compares to John Marino, who signed 6 years, 4.4. Michael Anderson, 8 years, 4.15. Rasmus Anderson, 6 years, 4.55. And Brandon Carlo, 6 years, 4.1. Those players' contracts were all around 5 or 6% of the cap ceiling when signed. The short-term comps who signed for 3 or 4 years are more in the 4% range. So if Vlasic's in that 5% range, it would be 4.375. 6% range would be 5.25. So all of those numbers lower than what we're suggesting, lower than what the chat is suggesting. So if they can get him under 6, oh my God, give him as much term as he will take.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean,
out 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they can work on a 6, 7, 8 year deal at that money, like that's wonderful. That is going to be an extremely affordable and probably under market value deal in a short time. I don't know. I just wonder about if they do that at like 3 years or 4 years, then you're talking about a 26, 27-year-old Alex Vlasic hitting his next contract.
Then he's looking for
then you're if he keeps doing what he's been doing and keeps improving, then you're looking at a massive deal for his third deal. But that's a future problem.
Remember the 2010 contract for Duncan Keith, 13 years, $72 million? And everyone's like, oh my God, that's a lot of money and a lot of time. $5.5 million cap hit for 13 years for Duncan effing Keith.
That was one of the best deals ever signed. I mean, that was a great contract. You can't.
Deal.
I mean,
you can't sign those.
No,
anymore.
because of that deal and the Marian Hossa deal is the biggest, and a couple others. But
Kovalchuk.
Those are the reasons you can't sign those deals anymore. If you could, I mean, sure, there'd be a lot of guys on this roster that in the next couple years you'd be looking for those.
Connor Bedard, 20-year deal.
Here's a 33-year deal.
Marian Hossa, 12 years, $63.3 million, $5.275 million for Marian Hossa.
Yeah, it's
Tyler Johnson money.
I mean, it was a much
for
lower
a bigger
salary
return
cap
on investment.
at that time.
Yeah,
too,
lower
but,
salary
but that's
cap,
that's how you got around it. Like, we're gonna pay you $72 million. We know you're probably not going to play for 12 years, and we're okay with that.
Ovechkin, I know, had like a 13-year deal. Malkin had one. Yeah, crazy that you could give that many years.
And just based on what Davidson said on Saturday when he was asked about the Vlasic thing, seemed confident something would get done. I don't know if he wanted to, when you're negotiating, even in good faith, and when talks are going well, you don't want to tip your hand too much.
Right, yeah.
But I didn't hear anything that concerned me in terms of it being...
It was a short answer. Basically, it was just like, we have time to figure it out, and we will.
Right.
Yeah, and Vlasic himself kind of was the same, line. Excited, loves what's going on here, loved playing with Seth Jones, loves playing for his hometown team, all that stuff. I don't see it being a very
it's not gonna get contentious.
It's not gonna get ugly.
No.
It's not gonna go to arbitration or anything like that. They're gonna work on a deal. He wants to be here. They want him here. Figure it out.
We all silly like the mayor.